Hi sweeties, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Our support is appreciated. My name is Zariah and I'm back with another episode of True Crime at Bedtime. Before we get into this video, obviously if you clicked on this video, you are into true crime, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories. Trigger warning, this story does contain child murder. So without further ado, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your popcorn, and grab your stuffies, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Tonight's story is about the 11-year-old strangler, Mary Bell. Mary was born in England on May 26, 1957. Mary's mother, Betty, was a prostitute, and Mary was raised in a very violent place, so she was exposed to violence very early. Mary's mother married a man named Billy, who was a criminal. He had a criminal history, and he was also a robber. Billy practically raised Mary. Her actual father is still to this day unknown. At a very young age, Mary was violent. She would vandalize things. She would beat on her classmates in school. In 1968, on the night of Mary's birthday, her and her friend Norma had talked about this plan to kill someone. Her and her friend Norma decided that it was going to be a 4-year-old boy, Martin Brown. Mary and Norma ended up using candy to lure this boy to this abandoned building, and Mary ended up choking him until he died. Parents ended up being really worried about Martin because he didn't come home, obviously. Mind you, this boy was 4 years old. So it's like, okay, my son not home, he's 4. Like, it's not like he out there with his friends, you know, or spending the night with a friend. Like, he's not home. Decided to call the police, and the police actually found his body the morning after the crime. Since there was no trace of assault on the body, the case was later dropped. So of course they get away with this one at first, and then they move on to the next victim. On July 31st, 1968, Mary and Norma striked again on a 3-year-old boy. I get they were 11, so they probably tried to go for easier targets, but it's just crazy to me how you can do this to somebody else's kids, like, that haven't even made it to school yet. You know, this boy is 4. He probably just started like pre-K or kindergarten. You know, this little boy is 3. He hasn't started school at all unless he's going to daycare or something. You know what I mean? This one is actually more brutal than the last one. It doesn't just include strangling. It includes a lot more. So just to let you know, just brace y'all for what's coming next. The baby's name was Brian Ho. They used the same luring trick on Brian as they did on Martin. Instead of going to the same building that they went with Martin, they ended up going a little further away. They carved a M into his chest. My conspiracy, I guess, because it didn't really say anything about why she did the M on his chest, but my conspiracy is it's either for her, like, new signature. You know how, like, some serial killers have signatures, like the Zodiac killer, he had a signature. I don't know what it was. I never really listened to that case. But you know, he had a signature, and then other people just have signatures, so you know that it's the same killer each time. They cut his hair and his genitals off, which when I read that, y'all, I was like mind blown, because you have to be a different type of sick. What did he do to, like, you know, for you to be 11 years old and just wanting to, you know? They ended it off by dumping his body into a field, I guess, nearby where they were. The body was later discovered, and they ended up linking it to Martin's case, and they thought it was like pedophilia or something, considering that, you know, it was both times it was kids, like babies, practically babies. And this recent time, you know, they cut off his genitals, so it was given pedophilia. When I was researching this case, it didn't really give me much on how we got to the point that I'm about to tell you, so I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you know, give you what I got. I want to let y'all know that it really wasn't much information on how they even got to where they were at this point. Police ended up interrogating like 1,200 kids, and nobody really stuck out to them other than Mary and Norma. As far as I know, Norma held her stuff down. She was denying it, like, girl, no, I ain't kill somebody's kids, like, that's not me, you know what I mean? Mary, on the other hand, took them a lot of force to get it out of Mary, but they ended up getting it out of her. She confessed. The girls was taken in August of 1968. Norma was actually released because she was considered an inactive witness. Even though Mary tried to convince the police that Norma was just as much as involved as she was, they were not hearing it. They did not believe Mary, because obviously she's an 11-year-old girl who just killed 2 babies and just cut off one of the baby's genitals. Like, do you really think that we're finna believe you? You know what I mean? December 17th, 1968, Mary was sentenced to life in prison. Now, imagine that, y'all. Imagine that. You are 11 years old. You decided to commit a crime, and then you are sentenced to life. You haven't even made it to middle school yet, and now you have life in prison because you decided out of random time that you wanted to kill somebody's kids. Of course, she ended up not really serving life. She ended up getting out in 1980. They said that she was certified in recovery, so they let her out earlier. So these are the updates. After she was free, she changed her identity, obviously, because I wouldn't want my identity out there either. She ended up having a daughter, which is crazy to me that somebody planted her daughter inside her. Like, I just don't understand. Like, her criminal history would have got me like, oh. But I guess people don't judge. I don't know, because personally, I don't know if I could handle that. Like, you want me to give you a kid after you literally brutally murdered 2 people's children? She had her daughter in 1984. That was 4 years after she had got out of prison for killing 2 kids. So that's even crazier to me. Like, I know 4 years seem like a lot, but you're not innocent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, 4 years, I don't know. Ended up getting their identities exposed, so they had to deport from where they were. And I think that's all for you guys. That was the story of the 11-year-old strangler, which is really ironic that she only strangled 1 person and then she did some real brutal stuff to the second. Like, it was crazy to me. If you enjoyed this video and like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.